Lawyers Committee for Civil Rights of the San Francisco Bay Area is one of the oldest civil rights institutions on the West Coast. For the last 40 years, our pro bono asylum program has partnered with volunteer attorneys throughout the private bar who bring their critical legal skills to providing quality legal representation for asylum seekers in the Bay Area.
Our pro bono asylum program has helped thousands of asylum seekers find safety in the United States. Through regular training opportunities, a resource library, and individualized support, we equip our pro bonos with all the tools they need to succeed, whether they're representing their client in immigration court or at the asylum office. We do this because we know that having competent legal representation can be a matter of life and death for our clients.
Vine a los Estados Unidos a buscar protección, vine por asilo. Yo y mis 5 hijos.
My client and her family fled from Michoacan, Mexico, after my client's ex-partner was kidnapped by a member of an extremely violent cartel, and her son witnessed it with a gun pressed against his head.
Estaba nerviosa, y tenía mucho miedo de que sabía pues que muchos no les dan el asilo y mi miedo es que yo tenía que regresar.
I was brand new at my firm, brand new to practice, when the opportunity came to join a case that our firm had taken on, and I just jumped at it. Honestly, I didn't know that much about LCCR, but I knew based on what other lawyers had told me that they would take care of us, they would give us the resources we needed, and that they really made a difference in people's lives.
I got involved into activism and politics back home where I'm from in Cameroon. We call our country a democratic country, but pretty much it's not. It's a dictatorship that we have there.
Patrick protested against the now 40-plus year dictatorship of the government in Cameroon. As a result, he was arrested, beaten, and tortured on multiple occasions.
This was the first case that I first chaired at trial, and so it was an incredible learning opportunity. I did a number of things that I had not done before, at least in a first chair capacity, and that included delivering a closing statement, directing the main witness, and just getting up on my feet and defending a lot of really contentious motions.
When a pro bono attorney accepts a case from our program, they can be confident both in the client's eligibility for asylum and that they'll have the support they need to provide quality legal representation.
Son buenísimos buenísimos porque en lo emocional, en el apoyo que ellos dan, en cómo tratan a las personas. Wow, me quedo sin palabras, no tengo palabras para definir como lo buen equipos que son.
The first time I appeared in court, and the first time my client appeared in court, and she brought her whole family, and I was petrified to go before this judge. It was my first time appearing in this kind of case, and her daughter, who was 8 at the time, walked up, and she came up to about my hip, and she just gave me a hug before the hearing, and I felt so comfortable in that moment, and I knew that I was going to make that difference. Flash forward 3 years later, after all of the work we put in, we obtained that victory, and it's something simply that I will never forget, that look on my client's face.
Being in the courtroom when our client was granted asylum with her and her son and everyone we had worked with up until that point, that was absolutely the best moment I've had working as a lawyer.
Tengo muchos planes de estudiar inglés, poder encontrar buenos trabajos, poder ir mejorando, pues.
Patrick was able to have his day in court and tell his story, his heroic story. And a couple months after that hearing, Patrick got the fateful call.
The day that I learned Patrick gained asylum was honestly one of the most memorable moments of my career, if not just my adult life. I cried. It was joyous. I will never forget that feeling.
I don't know, it took me a minute. Because I've been to so many defeats. So for me, it took me a minute to accept this happening, right? Because I was like, maybe this is just a dream, maybe.
It's rare, for me at least, being able to see such a direct impact and help somebody who has suffered get asylum in this country.
When I was asked by the partner to take this case on, I asked her, I go, from my understanding, asylum law is such a different beast, and it's daunting to think about taking on this kind of case by myself. And she goes, you won't be by yourself. You'll be working with experienced attorneys at LCCRSF who will be there to help you every single step of the way.
From start to finish, LCCR was involved helping us navigate the legal questions as well as the practical issues that you really only know how to do after you've done so many of these cases.
It also changed me in a sense that it highlighted in a really real way the ways in which creative, compassionate, and relentless representation can be dispositive of a case.
I was fortunate enough to have a lawyer accepting my case. We want to move the community forward. We want people to come here and feel safe, not feeling like they're going to be deported. So hoping that many law firms can support cases like mine.
Dio una vuelta, un giro que ya gracias al gran equipo de abogados que tuve, tengo planes, tengo metas, hacer lo mejor posible que pueda aquí en Estados Unidos.
Every single attorney in every sector has a role to play in dismantling systems of oppression and racism. The fact that you show up, that you bring your skills, that you bring your resources, and that you bring your heart into this work, that makes a difference. Join us.